and welcome everyone. Informatica is a leading provider of data integration software. We are about to see how Concurrent Workflows make Informatica one of the best service provider. To begin with, let us define what is a workflow. A workflow is a set of instructions that help the Informatica server to carry out a function. A workflow can be made up of a single session task or many different types of tasks. Tasks in a workflow are connected using links. Take a look at this example to understand how a workflow is created. Every workflow must contain a start task which represents the beginning of the workflow. After you have created tasks in the task developer or workflow designer, you connect these tasks with links to create a workflow. The tasks can include a session, scheduling information, or email notification. You can specify conditions for the links so that they run only if the previous tasks run successfully. We are ready to discuss concurrent workflows. A workflow instance is a representation of a workflow. You can run more than one workflow instance at a time. You can configure workflow instances that run with different parameters, or you can run the same workflow multiple times concurrently. The integration service defines each instance by the run ID. To better understand the utility of concurrent workflows, let us look at a few examples. A hosted application needs to run mappings and workflows for over 120 financial institutions. It requires to run the workflows within a limited time frame. The application runs multiple workflow instances for each institution concurrently. Concurrent file processing is another scenario that requires running concurrent workflows. Consider that a flat file arrives on the server at 12 a.m. A workflow is launched using the PMCMD interface to process this file. At 12:01 a.m., another file with the same structure arrives on the server. This file needs to be processed immediately by the currently running workflow instead of being processed sequentially. Concurrent workflows also provide scalability to web services. The load balancer is required to execute multiple instances of the same web services workflow when the request volume increases. Next, we will see how to use concurrent workflows. The concurrent workflow option is disabled by default. You need to enable it to use it. The parameter file for each workflow instance can have different parameter or variable options. You can monitor each workflow instance separately in the workflow monitor. You can even control all the workflow instances by either starting, stopping, aborting, and recovering. Let us walk through the steps to execute the workflow instances. To start the workflow instances, open the workflow in the Workflow Designer. Right-click anywhere in the workspace and select Start Workflow Advanced. In the Start Workflow Advanced Options dialog box, choose the integration service to run the workflow. Choose the workflow instances that you want to run. Select All is selected by default. You can deselect Run instances and choose only the instances that you want to start. Clicking OK starts the workflow instances concurrently. You can view the status of the concurrent workflow instances using the Workflow Monitor. The individual instances are identified in the square brackets.